from the West Side. It is me, DC, the Purple Diva, and welcome to Not So Random Chat. Happy Tuesday, y'all. I hope everybody had a wonderful day. It was extremely hot here in SoCal. Had a few fires too. But although I had to work today, I did get a chance to partake part of the celebration of life today in Houston for George Floyd. That got international attention. And I think it was a really nice service. They kept it moving though, because they had a deadline that they were under. So shouts out to them. It was really something. Now, before I forget, immediately after this broadcast, I will be premiering a video at 11:30 Pacific. My final thoughts on the Micah Stafford situation. So I do hope that those that can, and I got that notification that I pushed out a couple hours ago, stop on by. It's about, 14 minutes, about 15-minute video. So I would really, really love the support on that, because the majority of us in the autism community, we don't have videos that get huge views or go viral. Not a lot of us, But I would just like, I'd just like to get, if I could get over 100 views on that in, I don't know, the first two days, that would be amazing. But back to the things that are going on in society. We've seen that there have been several instances where we've had officers that are being charged in certain things. We did have another incident that happened here in LA where we have an officer who finally, let me just say finally, LA's DA, Jackie Lacey, I guess had enough evidence, so she's going to charge him. Finally. I mean, trust me, there's been a bunch that nothing's happened with. That's the reason why they want to recall her and get her the heck up out of there. But what they're going to do? Think that they're supposed to be a runoff or something? I don't know. But it looks like the only way they're going to get rid of her is they're going to have to wait until November. I don't know. But a lot of eyes are on Los Angeles because things like what happened to George Floyd have been happening in other communities, especially in communities like Los Angeles. Even though certain tactics were banned, there were still, officers who were doing these things. So it appears that now a lot of cities are deciding exactly what it is that they're going to do with their police department. Because here's the thing, if we're really going to be community police, then shouldn't we start with having police live in the communities that they serve in? That means if you are a white officer and you serve in South Central, why don't you live in South Central? Why do you live in the Valley? I'm just saying. I think it'd make it a lot easier if you really live in the community. It's not even about your color. It's about you being in touch with what's going on in the community that you serve. I think that would be an eye-opener for some of these non-Black cops. you know, because I honestly don't know if being a member of the police force is very attractive to young Black men at this time. Because, like, we do actually have candidates that would be eligible for it, because not all of our men have gone to jail. Not all of our women have gone to jail. Not everyone is gang affiliated. But let's just be real about it. In most police departments, Black officers have to deal with the same type of racial BS from the rank and file. They do. They have to deal with it from the rank and file. And shouts out to Nkoma Toure, who I know is listening from the clouds. He's on a device tonight, I believe, that he can't type in the chat. But he sent me a shout out earlier, so I know you're there. I know you're there, Terry. But it's really the time for all departments, all police departments, all law enforcement, to start looking at their internal processes and how they treat people of color that are among their rank and file. Let's start there. And then in the same breath, hello, Black police officers. Yeah, I'm talking to you now. How about you not hide behind your badges when you're out in the community, some of you, because I know it's not all of you, and pull some of these white officers' coattails when they're doing something. Have conversations with them outside of that. Make them understand some things about what true community policing means. Because here's the thing. If all officers have been doing what we really consider community policing in the first freaking place, we wouldn't even be dealing with this. If we hadn't had police departments hiring people who have dislikes for other ethnic groups, and then put those people out there. I don't know how these people are passing psychological exams, because let me tell you, I don't understand it. I mean, what kind of questions are they asking the people around them? And are they asking everybody? Because let me tell you something. I do know from my experience that they sure do that when it's someone who's of color, or if that person is brown. They ask a lot of questions that I can almost guarantee they wouldn't ask someone who was white. And I know this for a fact because I dated someone who was going into one of the police academies who had a father who was a captain in the police department and a uncle who was a captain in the sheriff's department. But he was Black. And they asked me all kinds of crazy questions in regards to him. And they put him through all kinds of hoops to become LAPD. But I bet you don't put applicants that are not black or brown doing all that stuff. I'm just saying. So they need to have a more rigorous process across the board. And I don't know, maybe their hiring commission can include some people from the community, leaders in the community, which these people are going to be serving in. What if they were involved in the hiring process? Wouldn't that be something interesting, something different to do for community so-called policing? That would be something interesting. Because I really don't know who exactly is completely involved in the hiring process of police officers. Yes, it's supposed to be a job, but the kind of power that we give these people, do you really want people within that same organization who may not be the best judges of character to be making those decisions? Because clearly some decisions were not good in hiring certain people, like that officer in the Minneapolis PD who'd been an officer for 18 years and had multiple complaints against him. I feel a little sorry for the officer who had only been an officer for 4 days. Unfortunate for him, he got the wrong supervisor. Training officer he got was not the person he should have had. And then I'm sure the other person who was in seniority, Officer Tao, well, he wasn't a good example because we know he already killed someone with that same chokehold. Kneeing somebody. Same way. Another black man, Minneapolis. But here's the strange thing. In any city across the country, if you just took across the country, and I don't know what the across the country statistics are, but I do know that we black people, no matter if we are black and Latino, because some of us are, or full-fledged black, or someone who has some white in them or some Native American or whatever, because black is black as far as they're concerned. They don't care about all those other drops that are in our systems. We only make up about 13% of the population. Yet and still, we make up a high percentage of those who have been put behind bars, those who have suffered, and those who have suffered police brutality. And in many cases, when we've been put behind bars, we've been put behind bars with harsher sentences for the same crime as our white counterparts. Let's take, for example, the sentencing for crack versus cocaine. Same drug pretty much. Yet the powder form had a much lighter sentence because the majority of the criminal activity with that was among a lighter persuasion, complexion person, white, versus crack, which we all know decimated the black communities.
Not true.
Decimated the black family structure. Made a bunch of black children who were born crack babies. Don't think about that. And because, they still have not done anything about the sentencing for someone with crack possession versus cocaine possession. To this day, they still have done nothing about all the people who went to jail on stacked charges, with DAs making the decisions and prosecutors making the decisions instead of giving judges, the most unbiased party in the room, the right to do what they're there to do, judge, and be able to determine if the sentence fits the crime. They need to get rid of all the stacking of charges. They need to fix the judicial system, which is slanted against people of color. We need more Black judges. We need more Latino judges. Hey Ray, how are you? We do. Especially, in cities where a large amount of the criminal, quote unquote, population that goes to the court system are people of color, facing judges who are not of color. Not saying all judges that are not of color can't be unbiased. But we also have to give judges the right to be able to do such things too. Unstack the charges. Hey, Angel. Stop stacking charges. California is one of the states that is just. Let me tell y'all something. One things that they need to do, and this is across the country, they need to get rid of the 3 strikes law. They need to get rid of it. They need it to go away. Because it has unjustly incarcerated people of color into life sentences without the chance of parole for stupid, nonviolent crimes that they could truly be rehabilitated from. They need to stop it. They need to reevaluate what the prison system is for. And they need to change it from what it is and make it into a rehabilitation system. They need to deprivatize the prison system. Get rid of the private corporations that own all of the prisons. Make the states take back the onus. Make them be responsible. And stop this modern day plantation known as the prison system. Because most of the faces that end up in there look like my son, look like my nephew. Facts. Pure facts. We got to save our people of color because we can't give them the opportunity to make us extinct, make us not be here. Because here's the reality. By 2050, if we keep, doing things the way we're doing, because, we have more babies than they do. We sure do. You wouldn't think we do, but we do. We don't get all these abortions. All those laws, although they do affect us, they weren't put into place for us. All these states that are flipping they're trying to save their white babies. Oh no, I know we need to save ourselves. I'm real about that. I think we also need to we need to get back to having real communities. We don't have communities anymore. Our kids aren't growing up in real communities. They're not growing up in real neighborhoods. We aren't instilling values, and we are definitely not doing what it is that we need to do as a people. All they do is tear us apart, and we need to find some way to unify as Black people in this country. We appear to be unifying about police brutality, but you know what? That's just the start. The world has our back in regards to that. But now, what are we going to do as a people? What are we going to do? How are we going to take this and twist this into something that works for us all? Like, financial wealth, financial literacy, being able to create generational wealth. More of us owning, like we were starting to do before The Big Short. No, we don't spank our children. We sure don't. Because, they might call child services on us. But you do know that all these child abuse laws and all of this stuff came about not because of us mistreating our children. It was because of people who are not of color doing things to their children. Trust me when I say that the majority of the child abuse is not happening in Black homes, not happening in brown homes. It's not. But many of us know what we're supposed to do. Because I'm going to tell y'all something. My son, although he is autistic, we didn't do timeouts up in here. We did not do timeout. You know why we didn't do timeout? Timeout does not work. You ain't scaring nobody with a timeout. When he was younger, we knew how to spank those little legs, and we knew how to do things so that we did not abuse our child. So he understood spanking those little legs, and then when we got to the point where we could do certain things, open hand. I knew all the criteria with social services. I also knew that I could roll up a newspaper, put little rubber bands on it, pop those legs. So, because my son was born in the 90s. I knew what a spanking was. Now, when he got past the point of, a size for spanking and everything, yeah. Then it's a conversation, you know. But let me just tell you, when you're dealing with someone who has meltdowns, like a 2-year-old, there's not a whole lot of conversation you can do. I'm just saying. So, different rules apply, especially now that he's an adult. You know, however, and see, it's just, you have to do whatever you have to do to protect yourself if you have those types of situations as a parent. They have classes on how to restrain your child so that you don't get hurt and they don't hurt themselves or anyone else. And that's something that, you know, yeah, a parent with a kid with autism would have to be thinking about if they have a child that does displays through meltdowns. Not all kids with autism do. Not all kids, period, fall out in stores or have meltdowns. You know, but you know, this is how generally a Black parent handles those types of things. We drop whatever we're doing in the store and we leave. And you have a nice grip on that kid's arm. You know, nobody can see it, but they're being pinched. No one even knows what's going on as you're walking out of the store. You're not hurting them, but they know what's up. That's what Black mothers do. We stop shopping. We're done. Whatever we're getting that day, it's not that important. Because we're not going to have you falling out in public. That goes for Black autism moms too. Rest assured. Anytime that happened, it was over. We were done. You know, even if it meant me, you know, having to fight with you in the car, we were done with the activity. We were done. Thank you so much for coming through, Miss Ray. Thank you so much. I appreciate it as always. So it looks like the economy is trying to open up. I don't know if this is happening like everywhere, but it looks like in California, they're about to open movie theaters again. Y'all, movie theaters is the last thing I'm thinking about going to. And I'm thinking that's what most people are thinking as well. Because a lot of people are saying that it's going to be at least a year before they go to a movie theater. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be that extreme, but I know I'm not going right now. First of all, when the movie studios start to put things out for the rest of the year, they've been given the green light that it's okay if they put them online versus in a theater, because we already know that a lot of people are not going to be going to the movies thanks to COVID. In addition to the fact that you will have to have reservations when you go to a movie theater. Reservations, y'all. And it'll be every other row, you know, social distancing, only families can, you know, sit together at the theater. There'll be, you know, a much less of a capacity. So, but you know that it's going to cost more to go to the movies. It's already almost up to $20. And even if you go to a matinee, matinees are over $10 most places. So what do? Wait for it to come out on DVD? So you don't have to go out anywhere in fear of Corona, COVID-19? Because I told you guys, there's not going to be any kind of vaccine in the year 2020. I remember when we wanted to cancel 2020, right after Kobe died, everybody just wanted to cancel the year. Remember when LeBron James said we should just cancel the year? And we all thought that, no, it's going to get better, and it's gotten worse, but now it's starting to get a little bit better. And, you know, do you know that they still were sending out stimulus checks? Y'all know my son just got his. Thank God for that. Because I was about to go up on the IRS site to find out what the heck was going on when they told us that he didn't have to do anything. You know, he doesn't file tax returns. He doesn't get enough money to file tax returns. He doesn't have to. I mean, you know, we all know that if you are on Social Security disability, that your annual income, if that's your only income, is below poverty. Below the poverty line. And people who are below the poverty line do not have to file tax returns. They don't. So he's never filed tax returns. Now, I hope in the future that one day he will be employed and he will be making more money. Maybe he'll have his own business, because, you know, for people on the autism spectrum that are not able to do traditional employment, sometimes they need to have their own business, you know, something that is unique to them. So we hope it's going to get there, but we're not there now. We're working on him having conversations with folks right now. We're about to start some of this Gemini program, which is supposed to help him with his conversation. I'm going to let y'all know how it works, because that's what he's going to use some of his stimulus money on. Something to help him be more verbal, be able to conversate, because he can. And I'm going to share some of that progress on in some vlogs as we go through it. I'm also going to be sharing stuff, you know, with the art therapy and the music therapy stuff. But, you know, I'm just really, you know, trying to get everything together. I've got, you know, like when this is over in like another 30 minutes, I will be premiering vlog 51, Chronicles of an Artsy Autism Mom. And I can't believe I've done a couple hundred, like almost 200 live streams, but I can't believe that I've done like 51 vlogs. And I'm being consistent about uploading. You guys get content from me, multiple things of content from me every week, you know, along with me putting out, you know, vlogs in addition to that. And I'm going to keep that going. I'm now at little, somewhere between 26 and 2,700 watch hours. So I'm getting there, you guys. So I'm gonna keep putting out content, keep uploading vlogs. And one of these days, something I put up there, I'm gonna get 100 people that like it at least. That's my first goal. And once I get to 100, we can think about thousands of views. When people get thousands of views, I would love that. I would love if thousands of people watched my videos. That's my hope eventually. Because I want to be able to help thousands of people. I'm still learning things, but my son is grown now. So there's so many things that I know from my experience of raising him to adulthood. And he's not like, he's like in the middle of where people would call on the spectrum. He's like, once all the conversation stuff comes in, then they're going to push him. Then they'll like look at him as completely high functioning. But it's coming. It's coming. Because he keeps trying to get it out there. He's working on it. And that's the most important thing. Because it's going to be important. And one of the reasons why I'm pushing it into high gear, it's going to be important if ever he's faced with law enforcement, which will be, my next vlog 52, that will be coming out this week, which I've also been working on. We'll be discussing things that you need to do if you're dealing with law enforcement and you happen to be the parent of someone who is Black and autistic. And so the things that I'm talking about are things that you can tell them, and it doesn't even matter whether they're high functioning or if they fall down the spectrum. It's all about, helping them to do the communication. So I'm going to hopefully, give out enough information in that information. And the information that I'm going to be giving is actually, coming from the person who I got the information from. Because I did it in one of my lives. But the person I got the information from is actually someone on the autism spectrum, and who happens to be a psychologist. She's got an MA, and she, so in sociology, and has sociology masters. So, but she's on the autism spectrum, and she happens to be a Black woman. And so this is things, because, we have to be able to tell our both our boys and our girls. We have to tell them both. And they're Black, and we know they're Black girls with autism. I have a cousin, first cousin, who's in the same age range as my son. I'm gonna reach out to her mom and get her to take a look at the video, or get my cousin to look at it herself. Because she's high functioning. And I know she's starting to, I think she's in a program so she can get out there working soon. And see, that's the goal with my son. That's why we're going to be working on this conversation, because he's going to need to have that for some of the things that he wants to do. He wants to work in the arts. And he wants, he wants to do things like dealing with airplanes. All of these things are wonderful, but he needs to get his verbal skills up to what will be appropriate to work in those professions. And he's working on it. He has, a lot of words. It's just putting them all together in an appropriate manner in social settings, learning proper social cues, especially in this new environment going forward. Because like some of the things that I'm going to talk about in not the vlog that's coming out tonight, but the next one, I'm going to add some things. I'm adding some things in there in relation to where we are currently, because it's even more of a situation that you have to, you've got to make them remember to keep on their mask and do all of these things. And many people on the spectrum have aversions to certain fields. So, we had to make sure that the mask that we got was one that my son would like. They don't mind covering their face up as long as they, as long as he likes what it feels like on his face. So he likes the way, the one feels, but that's like certain things, he likes the way certain things feel, because he literally has a security blanket. And it used to be my blanket because it's purple. But he accommodated it and never gave it back. Never gave it back. It's the blanket you guys usually see him with if he's getting ready to go to bed and he comes on camera with me. It's that blanket. It's that one. But I did, change my hairstyle up, y'all. Well, yeah, I got rid of the single-lease twists. That's what I had in. And I took those down. And now I'm curly purple still. Of course, it's still purple, y'all. Occasionally my hair is not purple. But I'm an artsy girl. And since I'm able to work from home and nobody sees me, I can wear my hair anywhere I want. Because when I'm on calls at work, we never come on camera. Because we do those calls through our, whatever the system is at work. And you could come on camera because, there's cameras on laptops as there is on one on my own. But I keep my camera on my work laptop and on my personal laptop blocked, except for when I want you to see me. Because I don't trust that you would, that those things don't pop on when they're connected to the internet. And somebody might hack in and see. Yeah. That's the way I think. That's the way I think. I know it might be a little crazy. That's the way I think sometimes. Hey, uppity unicorn. No worries. I know Terry's up in the clouds tonight. He's on his iPad. He can't. It doesn't allow him to type in the chat. He needs to put the mobile app on his iPad. The iTunes mobile app. If he puts the iTunes mobile app on his iPad, he should be able to chat, to talk, to type in the chat. Because I think I can even go live from my iPad. I've never tried to, but I think I can. Usually if I go live in the mobile app, I do it from my phone. And I haven't been live in the mobile app for a while. But that's because, when I come on at night, I don't mind sitting in front of my computer. And I've never gone live through the YouTube app on my computer. I should do that sometime because I think you can still do some of those filters. I think you can still do some of those filters. But I'm glad that Sunny Boy is going to be doing this Gemini program. I'm going to really tell you guys how it works. I'm really going to give you guys information about it, as he goes through it. I'm going to do that probably in some vlogs. I'm going to, do one, obviously, when we start it, and just tell you guys, give you guys a review of it. I think that would be beneficial to other parents out there that might be thinking about getting this, because see, this works at any age, this particular program. And I think part of it is it helps them with organizing their thoughts and everything, and just practicing social cues in conversation and all of that. But it works at any age for someone who has autism. That's the great part about it, guys. It's never too late to help with your speech. And from what I understand, it does work with people who are nonverbal. Works with everybody. Y'all, it is so hot here. I'm like, I am just like sitting here just like sweating. I will come on camera right before I get off though, because so you guys can see my new hairdo. Y'all know I do it myself. I am a natural girl, but I know how to braid. I'm gonna do anything I want to do to my hair. I know how to do it, or I'm not going to be doing it to my hair. I mean, the only thing I do to my hair is I'll color it, but I only will color it. Sorry, y'all, there go the fireworks. It's going to be like this for the rest of this month, next month, in August. But I'm gonna really look into this program, because if I'm able to do it with my son, and if they allow me to, I may see if I can get them to either allow me to interview the people from the program, or to talk about it more than just a review on my, on my channel. With permission, I would like to do that. But I'm going to talk to them first. After I put, my son goes through it and we see how it works with him. My hope is that it gets him to the point where we can have a 5-minute conversation. That's the first goal. Then from a 5-minute conversation, I would like it to be a longer conversation, so that he's able to have back and forth conversations with people. And once he's able to do that, then I'm going to have to worry about him talking to a girl. Oh. But first he has to take care of some other stuff. Because once he gets all his social things together, then he'll be in a position to have a conversation. Because, he's a nice looking kid, for 24 5-year-old I guess, he's like the Zer. I guess he's a Gen Z because he was born in the late 90s, the mid 90s. Yeah, he was born in 95. 25 years old. Because see, like my generation, I'm kind of like on that, the X, end of the boomers, beginning of Gen X is where I fit. My sister and brother are firmly in Gen X. And our kids, are the millennials and the, the Z's. That's where our kids fall. Because, the way that youth are, they blame that on Generation X. But the way the Generation X is blamed on the baby boomers, which my parents clearly were baby boomers. They were in the generation that was right before, that 60s, mid 60s generation where, the Black and I'm Proud generation. Yeah, they were right before that. They were part of the civil rights, activists. They were the ones that were inspired by Dr. King and by Malcolm. That's where they fell. And see, like my generation, because we don't remember Martin. We don't remember Malcolm. We were literally too young to remember. They died in the 60s. If you were born anytime in the 60s, you're too young to understand really what was going on. I don't even remember. I don't remember when either one of them died. Everything I learned about them, thankfully I learned in school. Thankfully, I was in a city, Washington, D.C., shouts out to my hometown, where they actually taught Black history in the classroom from the first grade on up. Wow, what a concept. Additionally, we were taught the Black National Anthem, all 3 verses. Yes. Had to memorize it in school. Oh, and I went to Catholic school. I wasn't even in public school. But they learned all this in public school too. Even as bad as DC public schools were when I was growing up, because they were horrible, they still overall aren't that great. Hence, the Obamas sent their kids to private school. Sidwell friends. We used to run track against them. We used to play them in basketball. Private school. Mainly, that school is non-Black. I, of course, being the child of middle-class parents, went to Catholic school because that's what middle-class Blacks could afford. But Catholic school, let me say, despite all the Catholic Church stuff, because y'all know I grew up Catholic and y'all know I feel some kind of way about Catholicism, one of the best educations you could get. Outside of the religious, brainwashing that the Catholic Church does, the education is excellent. Those priests and nuns are good teachers. And the teachers that they get who teach in public schools. And at the schools that I went to, the majority of my teachers were Catholic. Some of them were not, but the majority of them were. And were raised in the Catholic Church just like me. Catholic Church is very racist. One night, you guys, I will talk to you guys about the Black experience I had growing up in DC with a church, with actually a priest who actually taught the Word of God. He's been since excommunicated from the Catholic Church because he was teaching the Word of God. And because he was saying that the Bible was the final authority, not the Pope. But he's still around. And he still has a congregation. Praise God. And when he got excommunicated from the Catholic Church, he took 25% of the Black Catholics that lived in the Washington, D.C. area. They left the Catholic Church with him. Yeah. I did not leave the Catholic Church until I was here. But my reasons for leaving, as I've stated before, were because of things that were going on within the LA Archdiocese. And, it's not alleged, it actually happened at the church that I was at. And I don't think they did anything other than get rid of the priest. And it, caused a lot of conflict in that particular church because the church was a Black and brown church. And the church had, a Black priest and a brown priest. And it was the Black priest who did something to some of the brown parishioners, young boys. It was just sick, y'all. I was done. I who had known nothing but Catholicism was done. Now, I had already been on my way out, but I was still trying to, hang in there. But I was done. Because it's not like I didn't know anything about the rumors of that having happened in the church, previously, and wasn't that I didn't suspect that there were priests who were, hiding their lifestyle by being priests, but that's totally different. When you are doing something with grown men than a child. But the thing that's so abominable about it to me is that all of these children that this happened to across the country, across the world, were violated by people who they trusted. Someone who was supposed to be a man of God. And unfortunately, that happened far too much. I don't know if it's still happening. But I'm going to get ready to jump off of here. I'm going to come on. I'll come on here, let you guys see me. Because in 5 minutes, I am premiering a vlog, and I am going to be in the chat if it does a live chat. I don't know how I set it up, y'all, but I'm going to be watching it. Let me come on so you guys can see me. Everybody, see? All purple again. It's braided. There's a million braids in here. I have it up on top of my head. It's like, it's called Bora Bora hair. And it's like, it's way down my back. Maybe I'll have it down another day. Too hot today. But thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Uppity, for coming down into the room. I know you're busy. I will be back on tomorrow. I hope that those of you who are here can just jump over to the vlog that's getting ready to come on. It's only about 15 minutes. Just hear what I have to say, my final thoughts. In case you don't know about Micah Stauffer, I'll give you a little education. And I have another vlog where which I talked about it, but this will be my final thoughts on it. So, but you guys, I'm gonna get out of here. So until tomorrow, I offer you guys peace and blessings from the West Side. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and I'll see y'all over when I start this vlog in a minute. All right. Bye, everybody.